What is up, guys? It is Styx here, and for my Destiny 2 build gamers, it has been a minute. Today I'm making something PvP oriented because I got on the game and decided to run some and looked at how the meta had turned out. Looks like a lot of ability spam. And what do we do when people are spamming their abilities? We spam them better. I introduce to you Frozone PvP Edition. This is a mix-up of an older build that has been changed repeatedly by Bungie bug fixes, fragment changes, etc. And so I have souped up a little bit and put on a modern coat of paint. This might not be perfect, but it definitely was fun to use. Getting into our abilities, we're playing a Shadebinder Warlock here, and we're going to be rocking the Winter's Wrath super. It's the only super you've got, and it's pretty good at its job. You summon a stasis staff, and then you can left click to fire freezing little orbs that will hit things and, you guessed, freeze them, and then you can right click to produce a shockwave that shatters all frozen targets in a certain radius. We'll be rocking this with Empowering Rift. I don't know if Empowering Rift still has a faster animation, in which case it does combine really well with one of our aspects, but assuming it doesn't, then it still provides an increased ability regeneration and ammo generation, which are both extremely strong in the current meta for PvP. I combine this with Burst Glide for my own personal preference, but I know plenty of people get use out of Strafe Glide and Balanced Glide, so just use whatever you like. The only melee we have is Penumbral Blast. I can't really give you a whole lot of tips for changing it, but I can tell you be careful because it's extremely inconsistent. It'll work really well sometimes, and then it will completely whiff or just phase through someone another time. Don't rely on it too much, but get uses out of it when you can. For the grenade, because there is a certain synergy that's been removed with Whisper of Chains and Glacier Grenade, I could recommend running Glacier Grenade if you want to do something like block sightlines, generate shards for your allies, etc. But I could also make just as much of an argument for something like Duskfield to create auras of slow, etc. that combine really well with one of our aspects, or even Cold Snap Grenades, despite their extreme inconsistency, very similar to our melee. I personally rocked Glacier for much of the gameplay, but I could see someone using any one of these for different purposes. I think my favorite is probably going to be the Duskfield or the Glacier though, just because Cold Snap is unfortunately in a bit of a rough spot. The aspects I'm rocking are Frost Pulse, which causes casting your Rift to generate a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants, and then freezing those combatants generates class ability energy. This plays into our ability generation and spam aspect, as well as opening up for opportunities to protect ourselves from getting pushed by things like fusion rifles, shotguns, or abilities. I know a lot of hunters have tried to suspend me and have gotten promptly frozen midway through their backflip. For a similar setup here, we've got the Bleak Watcher. This is a really good alternate way to use our grenade. It will work no matter which kind of grenade you have, but you basically press and hold your grenade button, and then it turns it into a turret wherever you throw the grenade. This fires slowing projectiles that we will improve with some of our fragments, while also providing its own inherent bonuses. A pretty good way to use Bleak Watcher is to either throw it around the corner from where you know someone will run around, that way they get shot by at least the first bit and slowed, so it's harder for them to both push or to withdraw, as well as throwing this in certain areas that are very high up on the map that it can technically land but is really hard to shoot from just because you don't expect it to be there. This is particularly prominent on specific maps, but you have to learn the areas first. For our fragments, I'm running Whisper of Conduction. This is a very convenient effect of having stasis shards track to your position if they're nearby, but it also improves our health and super, which are probably our two most important stats on this setup. I'll go more in depth on that in a moment though. I'll be combining this with Whisper of Durance, so that if you're rocking something like a Duskfield Grenade and your Bleak Watcher, this will cause the slow to last longer, and it will also cause the lingering effects to last longer as well from your abilities, such as the Duskfield Grenade itself. It also provides a nice little melee increase. Offsetting the super increase from Conduction, I'm running Whisper of Bonds. I would have originally ran Whisper of Chains here, but Whisper of Chains no longer provides a flat damage reduction when you are near a frozen target or stasis crystal. In this sense, it is highly nerfed for PvP in my opinion, because its current effect is a little bit too niche for me to want consistent use out of it. So instead, I prefer Whisper of Bonds, which helps us to generate more orbs of power as we freeze targets. For the fourth fragment, I highly recommend the Whisper of Refraction. This causes defeated, slowed, or frozen targets to grant you class ability energy. Very simple here, you get extra class ability energy when you kill things with your Frost Pulse or just with your melee blast or anything else that is freezing, and then you are able to spam your Frost Pulse and your Empowered Rift even more to get all of those benefits, such as the ability generation, the ammo generation, and of course the freezing. If you're liking the video up to this point and you want to show me that you want more of it, then subscribe down below. It's a very good metric to get my attention and tell me what kinds of videos cause more people to want to stay on the channel. Now, I'll get into the stats real quick here. Our priority is going to be health. I recommend hitting at least 150. I like to sit at 160 if I can help it. For our primary abilities, all melee through class, I recommend getting them to at least 70. If you have the option, I recommend spiking your super to be the highest because this is a slower generating super. And if you can get that up higher, it'll generate a bit more frequently in the match, especially in 6s, and then if you're in something like Trials or Comp. If this is too low, it will be almost impossible for you to get a super in a reasonable match. I'll be putting a build more super oriented out later though. For your weapon stat, I really don't care about it in this setup. The reload speed and handling are nice, but the increased damage doesn't really kick in until after 100, and that's too much investment for what I'm trying to do with this specific setup. For the weapons, there's a fair amount of options. I liked running a Criminal's Dagger with Slayer's Fang. My Criminal's Dagger roll is Adagio and Slideways. I almost use Adagio more for the sake of using it to apply extra range, and then using the Slideways to reload because of the absolutely terrible reload speed on this weapon, plus the handling and stability increase is nice to play with. Another option for primary is Hawkmoon if you're wanting an exotic primary. I recommend one with moving target, very nice to play with, very effective at hitting your shots and maintaining stacks, especially by abusing frozen targets for free crits. For our special here, Slayer's Fang, of course, is absolutely amazing. It's extremely consistent and also gets you a good amount of kills from the dot at the end as well. If you're instead using something like a Hawkmoon, then I could 100% recommend a Retold Tale. See my Ascendant Challenge guides if you want something like this. I've got a Quick Draw Snapshot roll with Icarus Grip, and then a Sojourner's Tale if you want something slug related, Quick Draw Opening Shot, and then I've got a main ingredient if you are not a big shotgun gamer. I run Under Pressure, Tap the Trigger here. I just wanted to use something a bit newer, so I liked Slayer's Fang. Your heavy doesn't matter a whole lot, but if you really care about that, you could probably just slap on a machine gun. Now, for our exotic armor, we will be using the Eye of Another World. This is an older exotic, most people should have it. It is at Xur right now, so if you don't have it, you can grab it. The effect is Cerebral Uplink. It highlights priority targets and improves the regeneration speed of your grenade, melee, and rift. It also provides a small benefit to the airborne effectiveness of all weapons. This is very nice for our general ability generation here. And then for the set pieces, I would recommend, if you have a comfortable enough roll with it, running the 2-set of the Twofold Crown would be pretty nice, because whenever you run over a special brick, it will heal you, which is a pretty good effect for 6s. As far as I can tell, the only artifact mods that would probably matter for this are Light Forged Lead for the increased ammo generation on kinetic weapons. That Fresh Bullets smell, if this works in PvP, I didn't exactly check for it, but if it does, then that could be pretty nice as well for our little Adagio gaming. And Elemental Coalescence, which causes an elemental pickup matching your equipped super element to spawn when you're defeating targets. This will generate more of our stasis shards, which will make use of our fragments and give us some extra ability charge. And Shield Crush for if you get any of these positive buffs, that could also increase your ability generation just a little bit. For your armor mods, I recommend making sure you prioritize your stats first and then get your standards out of the way, your targeting mods, your dexterity mods, and your unflinching. I recommend running at least one enhanced athletics. I run multiple just because. I don't even know how well it stacks. I just like moving around quicker, so I run all three. And then on my class item, I run Distribution, Reaper, and Powerful Attraction. Not only does this give me another way to generate our very long cooldown super from kills after using my class ability, but it also causes synergy with Frost Pulse, because whenever I use my class ability near a target in order to freeze them, I get all of my ability cooldowns reduced. If you enjoyed this video and you want more of me, I have plenty of Destiny 2 builds on my channel for all three classes in both PvE and PvP, so go ahead and give one of those a watch. YouTube will recommend to you whatever it thinks you want, so you can check that out as well. If you watched up to this point, then put Sleepy Pumpkin in a comment down below. I'll show them to him, and I'll let you guys know once he's seen them. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.